In today's video, I'll attempt to solve some important questions of Class 11 English meaning into words which are probable from exam's perspective. Hi, I'm Sanjeev and you all are welcome to my channel. At first, let's discuss some questions from jobs. In exam, you get the questions like explain what these people do. And first one is a secretary. A secretary handles office schedules, coordinates meetings and visits, organizes files, answers phones in an office. Similarly, next probable question is a cashier. What is the job of a cashier? Well, a cashier handles cash from the customers in a bank, supermarket, shop, etc. Similarly, what about a mechanic? A mechanic repairs the machinery items. Simple, because in exam you get five questions from job, 5 marks question, and each definition carries 1 mark, so you don't have to write long answer. Similarly, a plumber installs and repairs the water pipes. A night watchman looks after a building at night. A gardener looks after a garden. A receptionist answers visitor inquiries, directs visitor to their destinations, answers incoming calls. An air hostess welcomes and serves the passengers in a plane. Next probable questions from grade 11 is used to. First, where do we use used to? Used to is used with habitual past actions. What about the structure? We have 3 major structures of used to. If it is positive, the affirmative or positive sentence takes used to. For example, I used to play marble. If it is negative, then we use did not used to. I did not used to wear jeans when I was a child. And the third one is in the case of WS questions, again, we use WS, did, thereafter subject, and used to. When did you used to get up in the morning? One important thing in the case of negative and WS question is, whenever we are using the word did not or did, then students are supposed to use USC only. It is not USCD. It is only USC2 in the case of did not negative or in the case of WH questions. Okay, after having read these 3 structures, it's time to see the questions. In exam, we get the questions like rewrite the following sentences using used to, and it carries 5 marks in exam. So let's see 5 questions. Number 1, he lived in France as a boy. That means he used to live in France as a boy, because lived, that's this very question number 1 is positive. Number 2, at one time there were trees in the garden. And after used to, we always use verb 1. Therefore, the verb 1 of where is be verb. So at one time, there used to be trees in the garden. They did not go out in those days. Question number 3 is the example of negative. So we say, they did not used to, USC only. They did not used to go out in those days. Number 4, how did you spend the winter evenings? It is the example of WH question. And in the case of WH questions, as we have read, how did you used to USC only? How did you used to spend the winter evenings? And finally, we had our milk delivered. We used to have our milk delivered. This is one of the most probable questions from grade 11 meanings into words, unit 10, use of used to. The third questions which I'm going to discuss today is being and having. In fact, we use being and having in the case of passive. Okay. What kind of questions do students get in exam is rewrite the following sentences using being and having. And let's see the structures with examples. The structure says, I hate or enjoy or love plus being plus verb 3rd. Where to use being? So we use being in the case of object pronoun. If we notice object pronoun in the question, then we are supposed to use being. Simply speaking, students, if you see me in the question, it is the example of object pronoun. So if you notice me, go for being and thereafter use verb 3rd. One example, let's see. I hate people interrupting me. At the end, you have me, object pronoun. So You can simply say, I hate being interrupted. We have converted interrupting into verb third past participle interrupted. And what about having? We use having if there is possessive pronoun, or let's say, if you notice my dot in the question, so that is possessive pronoun. One example, I hate people stealing my pen. And the answer is, I hate having my pen stolen. So when we see the example, first two examples given here, then in the answers, we do not write people, we do not write me. We have to remove them. We have to remove people. As you can see there in the example, you have to remove me also. So once again, I repeat, whenever we see the word me, object pronoun me in the question, then we go with being plus verb third. And if we notice my, that is possessive pronoun, then we go with having. In such case, we go with having my plus verb third at the end. It's not like having, it's not like verb third plus having plus my plus whatever the object is given. It's simple. It is simply because we have having plus possessive pronoun. Then finally we have verb third at the end. Let's see the questions. Rewrite the following sentences using having or being. Okay, so two keywords, me and my. Okay, number one, I hate people telephoning me early in the morning. Since we have me, we are going with being. And we are changing telephoning into telephoned. Similarly, question number two says, I love people taking my photograph. So here we have my photograph, that is possessive pronoun. So in answers we say, simply in answers we say, I love having my photograph taken. We are removing the word like people, and we put the verb at the end in the case of having. As you can see, it's not like I love having taken my photograph. The answer is I love having my photograph taken. Put the verb at the end. Number three says, I love people inviting me for dinner. Notice the word me, that is what we call the object pronoun. So simply we can say, I love being invited for dinner. Number four, I loathe people laughing at me. Nobody likes to be laughed at, right? So I loathe people laughing at me. We have me there, and the answer is I loathe being laughed at. Even we have to write at, because whenever we notice verb and preposition, that is prepositional phrase, in such case we have to write both verb and prepositions. We simply cannot write I loathe being laughed at. We have to write the I loathe being laughed only. We have to write I loathe being laughed at. And five number, I enjoy people taking my photograph. Again, you have the word my photograph. So remove people, and we can simply say I enjoy having my photograph taken. So the keyword is my, possessive pronoun having, me. In such case, we are going with being, and we remove the word like me and people in the answers. It is one of the frequently asked questions in examinations from grade 11, meanings into words. It brings us to the end of today's video. If you are new to my channel and have not subscribed my channel yet, subscribe my channel and hit the bell icon to get notifications. Thanks for watching.